Welcome to another episode of The Way I See It. This is my inaugural interview episode, and I'm so excited that it is one of my friends who has been my friend for our entire lives. I was going to say my oldest friend, but she's not old. We're about the same age. But anyway, y'all get ready. Here's my interview with Metta Pry. With Metta, and we've tested it once, and we know it works. And
It worked perfectly.
it worked perfectly. So we're going to talk, and this is my. I'll probably record another little bit before this to introduce that you're my first guest, my inaugural guest. How does this make you?
That part out right there.
You got it all figured out?
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Good. Can you hear on the big speakers?
Yeah.
That's Chad, everybody.
That's my super hot husband, Chad.
Yes. All right. Tilt your camera down a little bit. Well, I don't. You know what I'm saying. It just looks like I'm like looking at this part of you right here.
Yeah,
Like
I know.
you're barely treading water there.
Chad's taller than me.
Can you push that? You can like boost the chair.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
So, as if you're winning a prize, how does this make you feel to know that you have been chosen as my inaugural
As the
guest?
inaugural guest. Well, it's good because the first pancake never turns out right. The rest of them are really good. So, get me out of the way.
That's right. I could just edit out anything crazy, that we say.
Or,
So
Yeah.
your idea is that I should tell everyone that we have studied religion together for decades. Or that should be my promo
True.
online, like, as my first guest, a fellow student of religious studies.
student of religion. We took several classes together over the course of several years.
Basically preschool, Sunday school, all the way through high school. So,
We also studied music together at the same
it's true.
institution.
We also studied music at your house, We would like dissect lyrics to songs
I remember that, Rachel.
and then we would find songs that we thought were really meaningful and like, what do you think
You
this
know,
means?
That's interesting that you say that. Adela has asked me 3 or 4 times in the past week what karma chameleon means. And every time I'm like,
Oh.
Adela, it like means whatever. Like, look it up, think about it. And finally, on the 4th time, I was like, here's what I think it means. And I just told her what I thought it meant.
That's fine. I mean, it's worth discussing. So much of how our kids learn to think comes from them witnessing, I think, how we think and reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and sometimes, like with Lydia, I notice she sometimes is scared to voice her own opinion because she's afraid it'll sound stupid or won't be right. And I'm
Right.
just like, there's no wrong answer here. Just go for it.
And I think they get offended if they interpret laughter as that we're laughing at them, when sometimes just the thing that they first thought was funny or humorous is endearing to me, and it's not. So I think sometimes that's why she's hesitant to give me her opinion. Tell me what you think first so that you don't laugh at what I say, but it's often cute. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it has to do with their age too, that they don't want to be seen as cute anymore, Mom.
You're right. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that. She doesn't want to be cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're brilliant. So, no, seriously.
Thanks. That's why I had you on as my first guest.
That's why every time I say, but it's so adorable,
She's like,
she's
that's
like,
the last
like,
thing
I'm
I want to hear.
stupid.
Thanks a
Thanks.
lot.
I want to be smart, not adorable.
I remember when I started going through that phase with clothes, and my mom would like be like, "You should wear this. It looks so cute, Rachel." And I would be like, "Cute? Are you kidding me?" As if I'm 4. I don't want to be cute.
Okay. You have to edit this name out.
Okay.
But when we were in middle school, my mother said to me, Metta, this guy at your middle school is so handsome. I saw him after school. You should try to date him. And it was, please edit that out,
I
because
will.
I'm never
I
going to,
will.
like, I was bullying on the internet. No, but it's just, to me, like, my mother's opinion was so different
Mm-hmm.
than what mine was. So anything she said, I was just like, Mom.
And not only that, but even if you had thought he was cute before, it's like, well, if Mom wants me to date him.
Oh, for sure. I just mean her whole aesthetic was different than mine.
Yeah.
So anyway.
But I was thinking about with lyrics, we used to also not just try to find out what lyrics meant if they were obscure, but we would share songs with each other that we thought were going to be important, like, you're going to love this song. This is exactly how you feel, about a certain subject, or how I feel about a certain subject. Like, this is such an important song. I remember when you introduced me to Ghost by Indigo Girls from Rites of Passage, because I was, since we're editing out names, I was so in love, and it was all about being...
Wait, oh, right. Oh. I was like...
I'll edit that out.
I remember that. That was your song that you associated with him?
Mm-hmm. For a long time.
Wow, I associate that song with Monty Nelson's Car because we would listen to it on the way to school. Mm-hmm.
I don't have to edit that out, do I?
No.
No, that's...
She knows it.
Did y'all holler out that one line? In love with your ghost.
I can hear you hating that chesty sound.
I think about it every time I get to that point in the song. I'm like, this is part... My brother made fun of that. I was letting him listen to it in the car one time. He just starts, like, bellowing that one line because...
Like, if JD made fun of that line. Yeah, the other day, Chad made fun of somebody for scooping, and he didn't know what the word was. And he goes, oh, I hate that. And I said, it's called scooping, and so does Rachel.
Just such a... He's like, well, gee, great, now I'm a musical snob.
Yeah. No, he enjoys knowing those things.
Oh, good. Well, what's your update on, as we were discussing, when we did our pre-interview discussion last night, or whenever it was, 2 nights ago, I can't remember how long it's been. What have you been thinking about coronavirus, and how have you survived schooling your own children at home?
Oh, gosh.
Frankly.
Well, I feel like Elliot's homeroom teacher once a week says that he didn't turn in something that he absolutely turned in like 1 minute late or something. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I can't. Yeah. He needs to, it's like he pushes himself to just as far as he can go before somebody needs to email me.
Then they email you anyway.
But Adela, she and her friend just make a date and they FaceTime every day and go over what they need to do for school.
Well, that's awesome.
Then she and I together do like extra like art and books and stuff. But her actual schoolwork, like friends do it together. They haven't been. Yeah. I mean, it's been okay.
Lydia's like that because she's the same age as Adela. She's pretty much able to be self-sufficient. Like, she knows how to log on to her e-class and get her assignments. Sometimes she needs my help for, like, how do I do this math problem? Or I need help figuring out what are the 3 main ideas of this passage, Mom?
Right.
And I have to kind of, like, make sure her reading comprehension is good and show her how to look for main ideas and not details, that kind of thing. But, yeah, for the most part, after about the first week or two, it started being where I could just be like, go do your work. And she would just go do it and then only need my help a little bit. And plus her class, her teacher would have Zoom sessions every day. If they needed to get on at a certain time of day for help with, like, so it'd be like from 9 to 10 if you need help with reading or grammar. And from 10 to 11 if you need help with math. And then whatever time if you need help with this or that. And then, but the hard part for me was Nehemiah and Daisy. Just because, I mean, he's special needs. He needs that classroom structure.
Right.
For me, it was pulling teeth to get him to do anything for more than just a couple of minutes. I mean, we'd start on math. He'd do one problem. He'd be like, oh, done. I want to take a break and go lie down. And he'd say that after every problem.
And you can't be like, look, here's what's going on right now. It's called COVID-19. and we need to stay here for just like you can't reason like with it's not
Yeah.
going to be. I don't know.
Even
It seems like
Daisy,
a lot harder for younger children than.
even though Daisy understood why we couldn't go to school, she just couldn't. She just doesn't have the self discipline to make her. Well, she's also not capable of getting online and doing it herself. Like she needed me,
Mhm.
so we would do it. But that was the thing. Like I couldn't work with her and Nehemiah at the same time. I had to alternate, and it took all day.
And so much of their day at that age is structure. They're learning structure,
Mm-hmm.
learning this is what we do at this time, and so it's got to be hard.
Yeah, it was.
But a woman in the UK that I follow, she's a musician,
Mm-hmm.
so she really is not an expert on this, nor is she a mother. So I found this to be really interesting,
Yeah.
but I loved the idea. Apparently, I guess it was World War One when they had to quarantine. Uh, they took the school children and tested everybody, and if you were negative, then the school children went to like schoolhouses, like farmhouses that were remote, and they were schooled. It was like they were at a boarding school. State, that's where their funds went rather
Send
than.
my children to the boarding school for the rest of the year.
So they still got schooled,
Yeah.
They didn't lose a year and they didn't spread because they were all quarantined and
So
negative.
all the healthy kids were quarantined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's an idea.
I don't know. I kind of liked that idea.
Bye
like,
bye. See you in
yeah.
a few months. I'll call you every now
I would
and
love to see Elliot at a boarding school
then.
where he couldn't just talk somebody into, leaving at 10 o'clock at night. Every night he's like, you know what? I'm gonna take a quick jog around the block. I'm feeling anxious.
At 10.
10 o'clock. Go for it.
It's like, you don't have school tomorrow, so I'll go for it. Or you can start school whenever you feel like it because you don't have to get up and get on the bus or anything like that.
I know.
Yeah, Brandon was saying last night or some point, I was talking about wanting them to get ready for bed and go to bed instead of starting like a movie that wasn't going to be over till 10 or after 10. And he was like, well, Lydia doesn't have school tomorrow. It's not a big deal. Or again, like she has like 1 or 2 assignments left to do this week. And I said, to me, that's not the point. The point is that after the movie, then I'm tired and I want the kids to get in bed before I'm so tired that
Right.
that I don't want to do anything else. And he said, what else would you want to do? Watch a movie? Because we're going to watch it. Why not just watch it while the kids are still awake? I was like, touche.
I like that, Brandon.
But, like, sometimes I like to read. But, like, if the kids aren't getting in bed till 10 or 10:30, well, then I'm just going to go to bed. Like, I'm not going to sit up. I'll read, but by 11 o'clock, I have to turn that light out.
Yeah, I can't read before bed. I wouldn't comprehend anything that I read.
I
Dude.
don't. I like to read before bed, but yeah, I can read for probably 10 minutes, but then I start to get the droopy eyes.
Yeah.
So when you start reading a sentence and you're like, I gotta read that again, and then you read it again. I still gotta read it
I
again.
just read
What
that.
does that say?
What are you reading right now?
Right now, I'm reading Justification by N.T. Wright. I like to work on like one nonfiction and one fiction right now. Because I would just go through one book at a time, and I really read a lot of just nonfiction for like a couple of years straight.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I'm reading Justification by N.T. Wright and The Mists of Avalon, that epic novel about the women in the King Arthur story by Zimmerman is her last name, I think, but I can't remember. Anyway, that was a miniseries with like what's her name? The Good Wife. The actress.
From ER?
Yeah.
I know.
If I had to try to think of it right
Really
this second,
curly hair.
I'm gonna put it in the when I run through iMovie, I'll put it. She starred as the lead in the main character in this novel, but I have a feeling I'm gonna be let down when I watch that, because I can get the DVDs through Netflix or whatever. We have the Netflix service where you can get the DVDs for things that aren't streaming.
Juliana Margulies.
Yes, Juliana Margulies. She and I have the same birthday, but she's 10 years older than me, I think. But at any rate, I have a feeling I'm going to be let down because the book, I mean, it's taken me a long time because it's 850 pages or something. It's
do you only read books over 500 pages?
No. Justification's like 250. And the typing on that is bigger. Like, the font is bigger than... The thing about this book, Mist of Avalon, is that the pages are thin and the words are little. And it's 850 pages. And it is an epic. Like, it has started when this main character, Morgane, is 3. And now she's an old lady. And she's King Arthur's sister. So it's just going all... Starting with, like, before King Arthur is born.
So is this, like, the original... I don't know anything about this book. Have we talked about this before?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. I feel like I'm supposed to know what this is.
No, I mean, all I know is that I remember when I pulled it down, I remembered that title, Mists of Avalon, was a miniseries several years ago. And it was in, like, the late 90s. So I started reading it and then looked up on IMDb recently just to make sure I wasn't dreaming it, that it was a miniseries. And it was, and it came out 20 years ago. So Angelica Houston was in it, and a bunch of people who aren't British, and yet it's set. But then I thought, I guess it doesn't matter, because even back then, like, this would have been, the lore around King Arthur is, like, in the 400s or the 500s. So far back that no one spoke a language that any of us could understand anymore.
Right.
So it's not like they needed to have British accents. So.
You're right. It's kind of posturing at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were watching Charlie and the Chocolate Factory just today, and it sort of just didn't give rhyme or reason to the accents unless the character specifically was from one of the specific countries. But
so did y'all read, which version were you watching, the old one or the new one?
The old one. And they just all had, like, random people in America had British accents. And remember, the teacher seems to be British, and Charlie's not. And
yeah, where is Charlie supposed to be from? Isn't he supposed to be American? Right? He's American? I don't know.
They're severely impoverished. They live in, it looks like the Victorian days.
Well, yeah. And, yeah, but it doesn't say anything about where the chocolate factory is located, or, you know that all these people discovered their tickets in other countries, though. Like, it does tell that, doesn't it? Like,
right. So those are the only times that they actually give a name to a country, or, like,
that kid from Texas, it was
worldwide, I think, was that effort. But otherwise, it's like everybody's sort of mixed in. It's such an odd movie.
Have you read the book? I was wondering if the book makes them talk about accents at all.
I don't read books that are less than 800 pages. That was too short for me.
So the next ones I've got on my list are, well, after I'm done with those, I've got 2 more over there. One is another N.T. Wright book. I'm a big N.T. Wright fan. Called Simply Jesus.
Obviously not very well read.
Simply Jesus, that one. And the other one is sitting over there. It's another big novel. It's called Bright Captivity. Hold on. Let me check it right quick. It is, it's by Eugenia Price. You know who Eugenia Price is, right? Okay. The Savannah trilogy and all that. Like, so I read Savannah years and years ago. But this one's from a different trilogy or group. It's called Bright Captivity. It's got pretty pictures on the front.
Then I would be into it.
But only if it's got pictures inside, right?
Covered only, that's how I judge them.
Lydia just finished reading today Wrinkle in Time, the graphic novel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a graphic novel version. You should look it up on Amazon. I got Mom to give it to her for Christmas, so. She finished it pretty quickly today, and she could have read it in just a few days if she had started on it right away. But she's the kind that you're like, oh, you should read this, you'll really like it. And then she'll be like, and delay and delay. We finally started reading Harry Potter, and now she wants to read Harry Potter all the time, you know. Whereas it took a long time for her even to want to start Harry Potter.
Mhm.
Even though I was like, I promise you're going to like it. Both Brandon and I were like, you're going to like it. I promise you're going to like
Mhm.
it. But
Adela she trips up on names too much that I'm afraid to even suggest Harry Potter. She wants to get the name right, and I tell her it doesn't matter if you're saying the name right. Plenty of people said Hermione
yeah.
because they didn't know how to say Hermione.
Because no one in America names their daughter Hermione.
And they enjoyed the book just as much as everyone else.
Yeah.
But she'll
Well, and plus once a movie came out and then you're like, oh, and then you know going forward how to say everybody's name.
But I mean, call them Mary if that's what makes you
Yeah.
finish the book. I don't know.
Call her Hermie.
Yeah.
Harry. Yeah, no one there has.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was just gonna say no one there has really weird names other than Hermione.
I saw Daniel Radcliffe on. Have you seen 73 Questions? That show?
No.
It's very brief, and they have it on Hulu. I don't have cable, but 73 questions in a very short amount of time, like 10 minutes, and they did Daniel Radcliffe, and it was very interesting. The very last question was, tell us one thing you know about Harry Potter that the world doesn't know. And he said he didn't need glasses, they were cosmetic.
Even in the book, or just he personally, Daniel Radcliffe?
He meant Harry Potter. Now, my guess was that it was a joke. I'm guessing you're going to say there's a line where he
No idea.
doesn't have 20/20 vision.
No, there's not. There hasn't been any reference to his eyesight that I can recall.
Then maybe he's right.
Unless we're going to find out later that he doesn't need them. But yeah, his glasses cracked at one point earlier on in this second book. We're in the second book, Lydia and I, where he uses his flu powder to travel through chimney flues to magically get other places. And it's his first time ever doing it, and he falls out and his glasses crack.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it seem like he needs them, at least in the movie.
Yeah, I think he was attempting to be funny.
Yeah.
But he was very dry, as he is British.
Right, just as a matter of fact.
And they made him do part of them with an American accent, which I didn't think was that impressive.
You know who can do accents really well? Niall Horan, who used to be in One Direction, the blonde one.
I don't
look
know
him up. Look him up on Jimmy Fallon. He did one on Jimmy Fallon.
Okay.
Niall Horan. I guess look up Niall Horan, Jimmy Fallon, and he had one of those. You know how Jimmy does those games where he makes people do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He has like a spinner, and then they have to do stuff real quick. Yeah, he did one where he had to read something, and every sentence was like a new accent, and they would like call it out while he was.
Oh wow!
He had to just change on the fly, and he did a really good job of a bunch of different accents.
Wow!
And in reality, I think he's Irish. So.
Oh, is he really?
What are you about to do? Promote your artwork? Show me.
No, I wasn't.
I thought you were going to be like, so.
I was going to sit it down so I could write things down while we talked.
Okay,
and
so what are we going to
I
write?
wouldn't look silly.
I've got pen and paper. I can also take notes.
Oh.
Is this to review later or for our next episode?
It just helps me think.
Oh, okay.
I forget what I'm about
I
to
was
say.
trying to think about what we talked about last night, and I had written COVID update.
Uh-huh.
And school, which we've already talked about school. Luckily, it's over now.
Right.
So, and then we talked about comedy, but you had suggested I should do an interview of Brandon for that.
It just seems like something he would have an opinion on.
Yeah. It would be hard. I'd have to he and I would have to preset the questions or the things I was going to ask him because I don't even know enough about it. It would be one of those that I would just kind of have to ask a leading question and sit back and just listen to him talk.
And then get your questions based on his interesting answers.
Yeah. If he said something and then I would say, oh, well then, let me ask follow up on that. He's always...
Did he study, what is it called, improv or that sort of thing?
I mean, Well, yeah, he was a musical theater major in college, so he did stuff where they would practice improv.
Mhm.
And but as a script writer, he's always thinking about, flow and timing and how to wrap it up. And so it's funny because he'll always talk about that Saturday Night Live doesn't typically do a good job of wrapping up their
Right.
sketches. Like, it's always just kind of like, we did the funny part, and now this is the end. And I'll ask him sometimes, I'll be like, well, how would you have ended that? And he'll tell me something, and I'm like, that is so much better. You should be a writer on SNL. Because he'll always come up with, like, a way to hit the punchline. But, like, you know how a good comic will do their bit, and then at the very end, they'll come back and hit a line from something they mentioned at the beginning. Like, so he always kind of knows how to do that in reference even to these SNL sketches.
Chad listens to a lot of comedy, and
so
which
Chad
is
and
fun.
Brandon should do a show together.
Well, he's not funny at all,
Yeah.
and he never gets my jokes, but he watches a lot of comedy.
Maybe you're not funny.
And what I mean, that's obviously not, you can't even entertain that, but what I will often do is I'll either assume the punchline, and if it's different, then I tell him what mine would have been or what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because it's like once you hear it, you can't stop. You know what I mean? Once you get into the
and you think it's going to go somewhere, and then it doesn't go there. Unless it's so absurd, unless it's such a shock that you didn't realize it was going to be that is funny. Like sometimes you think it's going to do something, and you're kind of ready for the the golf clap or whatever, and then it's so different and absurd that you're like, it really is like it makes you just
that I wouldn't have ever thought of.
You're caught off guard in your laughter. That's when I get Brandon. He laughs at some of the things I do sometimes because he doesn't expect me to do it or to be funny. There have been times in our relationship where I would do something and he would laugh and then he'd be like, "You're the straight man in this comedy duo. You're not supposed to be funny."
Oh my gosh.
He's the comedian and I'm the straight man. I can't be making these jokes.
So I would have thought that you made more jokes than him. Is that not true?
I mean, I'm more of a gregarious personality. But I'm not a trained, like, he's the one that, like I'm talking about, like, he's the one that he has the timing and the wit, and he can just, lay it out, and we're all laughing, even though he's an introvert, and he doesn't necessarily, I don't know, so I'm the kind of person that I'm more like overtly pitching jokes or looking for the laugh or whatever, kind of just constantly in my, even in this conversation. Whereas Brandon, I don't know, he's the one that, as far as the two of us goes, he would be the much better comedian because he knows how to craft a joke, and so that's why when I do something or say something that he finds really funny, it catches him off guard because it's not often that I can come up with a well-crafted and well-timed joke,
So speaking of jokes, how's your dad's stand-up going?
He's enjoying himself. He does a lot of YouTube himself.
Oh, he does?
Sure. Like Father, Like Daughter. I'm on YouTube now. Just like my dad.
Okay. So does he do jokes on YouTube?
He likes to do it. He likes to do it like funny stories. He doesn't do one-liners. He tells these kind of absurd and funny stories about things that have happened in his life, or, he's an Uber driver who hasn't gotten coronavirus during this time.
Are you serious? During all this, he's been an Uber driver? I did not know that.
He doesn't get as much work right now because of the quarantine.
Mr. Ron. Be
Yeah,
careful.
well, he loves that because he loves being able to talk to strangers.
He likes to talk to people.
He'll tell some new person a story that he's told 1,000,000 times, but they've never heard it before.
Right, and they're on the edge of their seat.
He literally uses that to, like, craft his stories, and then he does them on YouTube, though.
And plus, they don't know anybody. They don't know anybody he's talking about either, so they're not going to go gossip.
And then he'll go on YouTube and talk about. Then he'll go on YouTube and talk about them.
I got the cheapest guy in my Uber yesterday.
Yeah.
Didn't tip anything.
Well, he tells one story about this woman he carried in Uber who was like an escort.
Yes. Love it. What happened?
But she
Give me
was,
that link, Rachel.
she was like,
Why
she
are you
was
not
kind of like
telling me?
older. She was kind of like past her prime, and that's the whole,
Oh, she was past her prime.
Yeah, she was kind of like an escort who's in her 50s
And
at this point.
younger escorts are now coming in, and her time is up, and she's
Yeah.
competing with a younger market of
That's
men who
right.
want the younger women, even the older women. The
Well,
older
he
men
just
want-
said something about, the story is kind of about how she got in the car and she was dressed, I don't know, kind of flouncy or whatever, and
flapper dress.
she's talking about, I don't know, she told him she was an escort, and he was like, whoa. So much of what...
Selfie with her, I bet.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't put it past him, but no, he didn't. That's at least not part of the joke. He doesn't show himself with he doesn't put up a picture of some random woman, This is who she was.
So who would know? He should have.
If she ever happened across that video, somebody who knew her could,
Yep.
be like,
They're gonna tag her.
be like, I saw you in this guy's YouTube video. He showed a picture. He was making fun of you.
Said you were past your prime.
I don't know, though. If you allow yourself to have a selfie taken with a stranger who was your Uber driver, you should already expect to, sign off your rights to just whatever, you shouldn't have agreed to a selfie with a
I
stranger
mean,
in the first
also,
place.
if you tell them that you're an escort, I figure
You're already expecting...
you probably want the exposure of business exposure, right? I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm thinking like a businesswoman.
Maybe, yeah. Help her business.
She's like, sir, you seem like you might be have friends who like escorts.
Let me you give me your business card and I'll give you mine. his Ron Green comedian business card and her
Oh my gosh.
Sally Smith personal escort.
Right, Veronica.
Veronica Dazzle.
Seriously, I don't care. I have nothing against escorts. Please don't post anything negative I said about escorts. They have a job and I don't.
Viewers can judge for themselves what you think when they watch this.
Also, if you're interested in my escort services, link in the comments.
Yeah.
Joking.
Or I'll put your email address. Anyone who has
No.
complained. If anything Metta or I have said offended you tonight, email Metta.
I myself need an
She'll point that
escort.
way. That's where you are.
You're a male escort.
Yeah. If you're a male escort and you think Metta would like your services,
And you want me to mention it on Rachel's YouTube channel.
I'll promote your business. Send me your picture. We'll put it up here.
Give me a free date. I'll tell you all about it. This is a YouTube channel we could do, Rachel.
What? Where we just promote escorts?
No, where we go out on dates with people like crazy male escorts. And
We
talk
video
about-
ourselves and
Yeah.
my crazy male escort date, episode 1.
Let's make a bet and see which of us could make the most money as a fake escort.
As a fake, how do you make money, first of all, if you're not gonna, I don't know.
Yeah, don't say that. That sounds illegal. People will say that I was trying to do that. So don't.
Yeah.
You have to cut that out.
Try to get people to pay you when you don't put out. It's kind of
Right.
hard.
She's got a whole escort service and doesn't do a thing. That's how you do it.
It
You're
has
the
some sort of
chocolate. You're the
shell.
madam.
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
how you do it. You're the madam. You got a bunch of young girls. We're old enough to do this.
That's true.
Money.
Make it a shell, or you could do some, I don't know, some sort of shell corporation where you
What kind of corporation?
shell, like not a real thing, but something that's somehow making money, even though it's fake. It's a fake.
I thought you meant like the gas station. I was like, what have they been doing?
Shell has gotten into escort services.
Go for it.
No, I was
Yeah,
trying to
no,
think of something where you people do stuff, where you go on the internet and you think you're gonna pay for this or pay for that, and you end up
Yeah.
giving your money, and then You don't get anything for it.
Yeah.
I'm not smart enough, nor am I duplicitous enough to do that.
Duplicitous. I don't know. Arguably.
That goes against my persona. This the point of this whole YouTube channel that I'm doing right here.
Same person that said this went through a man's wallet with Carrie Williams and myself to look for condoms. So whatever. Say what you want to.
I hope Carrie watches this and gets to this point in the video. She'll think it's hilarious. I did. I will say I am duplicitous. In my worst of times.
We all are.
Yeah. And did we find any condoms? I can't remember.
One.
Oh yeah. And then we were like,
married.
We're like, he's cheating. They're married, and why would he even need a condom? He's cheating on her. Now everybody's going to try to figure out what scenario we're referring to. And
but the joke was on him because a condom that's been in your wallet doesn't work.
Ugh.
Newsflash.
Wonder if he's got any babies floating around there out in the world today.
I hope not.
Those babies would be, let's see, we were 25 years. Those babies would be 25 years old now.
Why do you have to do that? We could Facebook them now.
Not if they don't have his last name, because they didn't know he was their dad. But I don't know. I don't know if there was actually anything going on, but you know us. We had high school minds. We were always wanting to assume the worst.
I mean, that could have been in there since he was in high school, and he kept it because it was some...
It could have even been from when he and his wife were dating themselves, and he didn't want to, you know.
Or, who knows? Maybe they
pregnant.
used condoms because they liked them. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes people do that if they don't want to get pregnant and the wife doesn't want to be on birth control for some reason.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I think you and I could be really funny together if we get hit the right topic.
That's right.
You never know what that's going to be or what we're going to have to say about it.
Well, so much of what we talk about, we hop from subject to subject, and then it's better like this when it's just off the cuff.
I know, that's what I was going to say. I hate to script that or decide on topics just because
it's almost like you feel like, okay, we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about that. And then you're like, and we've spent 5 minutes and we talked about those things.
Right.
So now
right.
So.
Also, I just don't know much about, like, I don't have a strong opinion about going out and staying home just because I'm not a doctor. So I feel like any opinion I have is a non-expert opinion. You know what I mean?
And I have strong opinions, but they're anecdotal. They're based on me and people I know.
Yeah. And we won't know if they were right or not.
No one I know has gotten sick, and I haven't gotten sick. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was telling Kathy last night, I was talking to her, I was testing this on Messenger. So I was talking to Kathy Camp King, and I was saying my big thing is cleaning, like washing hands and cleaning surfaces.
Right.
The face mask, I couldn't care less about.
Right. Because it's useless, I'm sure.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think it's useless. I just feel like if someone's not coughing on you and you're not coughing on them, if you're not going up to someone and, breathing heavily,
right.
Or coughing on your hands and then touching product, to me, it's not important to have the face mask, but I'll wear it when I go in the store just because otherwise people will give me the look, you know.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't want to risk it, so I don't know. I do what they tell me to, but who knows?
Well, I just hope everything opens up by the end of the summer. I really want these kids to go to school.
No.
What?
And our economy is going to tank. Anyway.
Well, we're going on a trip to St. Augustine next weekend. It is still on for this family.
With who? Oh, just the family, or?
Yeah, us and Mom and Dad and JD and Rachel. Well, JD and Rachel they live like an hour from there, like in Jacksonville, which Jacksonville to St. Augustine, like South Jacksonville to North St. Augustine is about 30 minutes. But we are actually going to be south of St. Augustine, so it's full, like, hour from them. But we're all gonna hang out for that weekend and have a family picture made on the beach, that kind of thing, which we've never done.
White shirts. People wear white.
We're gonna wear shades of blue.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Mixed up. I did one of my parents and the kids like that.
Yeah.
That they used for their Christmas card.
Oh, how sweet. So yeah, we're doing that, even though some things won't be open or some things will only be operating at 25% capacity or whatever.
What about food? Will restaurants be open on the beach? Or
we're gonna do some stuff where we do like takeout and we eat it at the condo. We're gonna buy some groceries, eat breakfast there. We're gonna go out for like one big meal, but we're not gonna try to do a lot of that because again, it could be something where you go and they're like, oh, the wait is 2 hours because we're operating at 25% capacity.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my God. Tell me what it's like. Take pictures.
Okay.
This is like the time when the beach is gonna be bizarre. So take pictures of like weird signs you see and stuff.
Everybody out there, yeah.
Well, thanks for having me as your inaugural guest.
That's right. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, can I be your second one if it doesn't work out at all? We can.
If I look up here and it's like, it stopped recording at 2 minutes in.
Or if it just sucks and you're like, this is not interesting.
Be like, well, we had fun. I can edit it down too. This is a long conversation we've had right here, man.
What if you called me tomorrow and said, I just wanted to have a phone conversation with you, and I pretended to be recording the entire thing for YouTube?
Just because I wanted to connect with you so bad.
Because you hate talking on the phone and wouldn't call me otherwise.
But if you thought we were going to do this for an audience, you'd talk to me.
I'd be like, well, okay, Rachel, if it's a favor for you, sure.
I'll call you every day now and be like, hey, you'll do another YouTube episode?
We've got such a big audience, Metta. People love you.
My subscribers have jumped. I jumped.
We always make YouTube comments.
I wasn't getting any comments on my videos, but now I am, so you're my guest. Now it's no longer my show, it's our show.
You have to be my guest.
So wait, before we go, tell me, a few months ago I saw pictures you had posted of yourself with a podcast set up.
Yeah.
Tell me, or can you tell me?
I can tell you.
Okay.
I'm not currently doing that, and I, might revisit that if I ever get the go ahead from anybody. But with the legal issues that I have had with that detective, I'm not going near that John Bonet podcast. If I do another podcast, it would be funny or
okay. So the podcast you were doing was a John Bonet thing.
Yeah, okay. Because that's what I had information on. But now that he loves suing me, and every time he sues me, he gets to see me again, and I don't want to give him that pleasure.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So you're not going to publish your book?
I mean, I'm going to publish a book. It's not going to be that book.
Oh, okay.
That I thought I might publish because he would take me to court and get all the money. I mean, I know he would. He loves anything I do that he could possibly say I was doing to him, he would try to say. Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Well, think of something and do a podcast. Actually, I'm looking up on I'm looking online of how to do podcasting, and I would like to take the audio from these because I have all the projects that I've put so far on YouTube. I still have them in iMovie. I could detach the audio or somehow, run them through to do a podcast. I just have to look up how to publish them and stuff.
I think it'd be fun to do a comedy podcast, not like a professional comedy, just a funny podcast.
Yeah, just lighthearted.
I just don't have an angle for it. I don't have like a thing like, oh, I know, we'd break down such and such.
Yeah.
I just can't. I don't know.
Unless you thought of something to do a short like a podcast serial, like just we're going to do 8 episodes and talk about this. Mm-hmm. Be done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what my drama day podcast is going to be. Just like
Mm-hmm.
like Serial is going to be like, 5 episodes or whatever.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm not. If I do a podcast, it will be something else. But I do think it's a good way to make money right now. I mean, there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
accessibility to that. So
You can get some sponsors.
yeah, Madison Reed hair color. That's who all the true crimers do. They'll be like, they did this on SNL, and it's totally true. They're like, and then they found would they ever find the boy? Was he murdered in the woods? Have you tried Madison Reed hair color? And it goes from like, the boy was murdered
You're
to
like-
never alive again. Ladies, have you tried Madison Reed?
Because in true crime, if you need to hide your identity, use Madison Reed.
Madison Reed.
No one will
His
know.
mother didn't have the same hair color when they found her in the next state. God. I'll talk to you later, but please send it to me.
Yeah, I'll send it to you first. We'll let you read it.
And
Watch
send me
it.
your dad's YouTube. I feel like you probably sent it to me and I lost
If you
it.
just go on YouTube and look up like Ron Green comedian, it'll show his
Okay.
channel. His channel, the icon is like the front grill of a car. It's
Okay.
not his picture. It's like a red car with a grill. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll find it. Not like a grill.
Not like for burgers. Flipping burgers.
For tea.
All right, I'm going to try to stop this now. I'm going to say goodbye, and then I'm going to
All right.
try to stop it.
Bye.
Bye.